doing outstanding. December 4th, 2024, 9:01 on this fine Wednesday. Just talk really quick. Another quick rant. Apologize for the short nature of the rant, but getting started a little later again. But take a look at the S&P futures, slightly in the green. Asia markets were mixed overnight. Europe markets are in the green this morning. And it's a back-to-back 0.3% trading ranges for the SPY on Monday and Tuesday. And again, I keep saying, considering we're at all-time highs, it's just impressive. And then and this is against the backdrop of geopolitical situation. And yesterday it was South Korea, the president initiating a martial law, whatever, just crazy stuff. And the markets, it's like they just shake it off. So we'll have to see how things play out. I still think 610 on the SPY is coming. I'm hoping before Friday, so between today and tomorrow. And then we have the Friday jobs report. On Friday, we have the jobs report for November. This afternoon, Fed Chair Powell has an interview with Andrew Sorkin from CNBC. The New York Times Deal Book Summit. Who knows what may or may not say. I don't think that anything's going to be market moving. Right now, the market's giving a 74% probability that the Fed's going to cut rates in 2 weeks. So the Fed meeting is in 2 weeks from today. I'm hoping they don't, but we'll see what happens. If you remember, I think it was last year's New York Times Deal Book Summit. They had Elon Musk, and he said, F you to the advertiser, I think it was, right? Always making headlines. But I already mentioned it yesterday, but I think they have Jeff Bezos. They have Serena Williams, Bill Clinton, someone else speaking there. So always interesting stuff. I'm sure there'll be some headlines as the day progresses, as that summit goes. All right, so that's overall market. 600 on the SPY. If there's crazy shenanigans, that's a spot where I'd be a little worried. And there is some Fed speak today. There's some stuff coming out just a little while. Again, I don't think a lot of it's almost like we're on somewhat of an autopilot, and that makes me a little nervous. You look at the SPY chart; it's like we're taking the slow stairs up, and at some point we're going to have some kind of lever pull, some agreed reset, I call it. And not going to say I'm going to be prepared, but if things start breaking support, I'll certainly be up to adding some put hedges. Small caps IWM closed right at 240 yesterday. That's support resistance area. Hopefully it can break that and then start its way to 250 before year's end. And then last but not least, the VIX. And I was talking like the VIX like a broken record from September to October was in the 20s, despite the market ramp in the highs. And then all of a sudden we had the election, and then just it's been like a flat tire, air coming out of a tire, right? So it's down here at 13, multi-month lows back since July. I think low levels hit 13.19. Hopefully it stays down there for a while, at least into the end of the year. All right, so individual names. So I put on the watch list yesterday morning after I ended those ROKU spec calls that if it didn't resume its uptrend after the open yesterday, I would lock the rest of my calls in. Sure enough, I did. I just want to lock the rest of the profits as opposed to watching it expire at the end of the week. Sure enough, Needham, who is the most bullish analyst on ROKU since forever, comes out with another note this morning, pretty much jumping on the bandwagon with Guggenheim, saying that Roku is going to be acquired within the next 12 months for a substantial premium. And then they reiterated their $100 price target, which they have for a while. That $80 spot, and I was talking about yesterday afternoon on a rant, I think once that breaks, there's lots of gaps to fill on the upside. Once we're over 80, you have I think it's 87 and change. That's another big spot. And then I think it's off into the 90s. So in lieu of trying to get some more weekly strikes or December strikes, I'll probably look to get January's. And when I look to January's, the 100s will probably be up quite a bit. So I might look at the 105s today. Don't be surprised if I get January 110s. I just think, and I've said it for a while. It's like, I forget who's Doug Cass. One of those guys, Dennis Gartman used to say, never wrong, just early. And, Roku's been good to me on some over the years on some trades, some monster trades. Some trades I've looked, it hasn't played out. I mean, I'd have to go back to see how much I'm up on some of these Roku trades, but this is where I think it's a situation where I've been early, and I think now it's becoming late, and I think at some point this is going to come to fruition. So whether it's a buyout or just the stock gets more upgrades. All right, so that's Roku. Fiverr, another name I'll be watching. I didn't even realize that short interest had been increasing as the stock wasn't going up. Back in the summer, it was at like 14% short interest. Now it's 20%. And it's like one of those stories that I look at, especially when they're smaller cap names, I think it's misunderstood. And because of that, I think it opens an opportunity for getting a big squeeze to the upside. So similar situation. I want some time, but I'll probably look for some 38 December strikes at the open. And then possibly, I think maybe it can squeeze up into the $50 range in the first month or two of 2025. So really like the fiver story. May look to get some strikes. I was looking yesterday. I wanted to, I was saying on the rant, just want to be a little patient. And then yesterday it was up 6% or nearly, 5%, almost 6%. And it was only, the only analyst was UBS maintaining their neutral rating and raising their price target from 31 to 32 bucks. So I don't really think that was the catalyst, but uh, anyway, definitely got my attention yesterday. And then some other names: Peloton, 1039 on Friday, 1036 Monday, and then 1040 yesterday. Those are the areas that hit. It's like a stone wall. Once that 1040 breaks, I think it's off to the races. Still have the January strike, so I'm not going to add anything more. Teladoc had their conference yesterday. I was saying it yesterday after I tried to get on it, and then the audio clicked out for a little while. I turned it off and I came back. It was on. I'm like, I'll try and listen to it later. Haven't had a chance. Doesn't look like there was anything in regards to catalyst, but Piper Sandler did come out this morning and reiterating their buy rating and raise their price target to 13 from 11. So I don't know how much that'll spark the shares today, but hopefully it starts it in the right direction and it can hold that 200-day moving average there is now 1077. So hopefully it holds that. JOBY, what else to say here about JOBY? It's been, I wouldn't say frustrating the last 2 days, but giving back a lot of its gains from the previous couple weeks, which is not unexpected. It's just frustrating. Still holding my strikes. 775 is a big area, so want to see that holds. And let's see here, the last one. Sorry, folks. Square. So finally over 95 here in the pre-market. That's a key spot for me. So if it breaks and holds 95 today at the open, I'll be looking for some more strikes to play for some FOMO, because I think it starts trading into the hundreds. This all this rant, this narrative and stuff around these Bitcoin treasury stocks and what have you. I don't really look at Square Block as one, but it does have its hand. It does own Bitcoin, right? So it's one of those names that could really start to gain some momentum, especially if it starts breaking that 3-digit threshold. That's it, folks. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on audio later.